Hello everybody. I would like to show you a project I've been working on in Visual Basic. I have been writing this project in Visual Studio 2010, and basically what this project does is manage a database. Now the main brains of this project is a class called SQL Control, and basically all it does is establish a connection with your database and allow the programmer to write SQL statements as strings, and it is extremely lightweight. It works with most database platforms. I happen to be using SQL CE. I actually started off in Microsoft Access, and installation on other computers of the final product has been pretty difficult, so I've been transferring from Access to SQL, and so that's kind of still in the process, but just goes to show that this is a extremely powerful class, and you can find out how to make this class through a YouTube channel called VB Toolbox. That guy has some amazing information on how to manage databases with a Visual Basic project. So if you come over here, I'll just give you a quick skim of the code. I'll be more than happy to share this information with you guys. I even just give you guys the project. And so here I have a string, I have an insert statement, I have an update statement, select, I even have a delete statement in here somewhere. There it is. Delete from products where I have parameterized statements there. So anyways, let's just go ahead and fire up, waste no more time. And this is the database form here. And this tons of data in here. Granted, you only see 258 for this manufacturer. Each of these tabs are manufacturers. And want to go over a couple features. This data grid has a frozen first column, and it's also grayed out, so you can establish, I'm looking at an ID and not data for that ID. And you can go way over here, and so that's just for a measure of convenience. And also, you will notice if you click on any row of the data grid, it connects to this combo box over here, and vice versa. So you come over here, click 116, I'm now viewing 116 in the grid. And so also looks like this doesn't have any oil or cooler information, which is just fine. Not all of these engines do. But anyways, so each of these tabs are manufacturers, and it just runs a query. Select all from products where MFR equals GWAS core, MTU, or whatever. And so just, real-time SQL statements, which is really cool and which really makes this program powerful. And I've been able to manage a whole bunch of important data for my job. And so I have all these buttons up here. I have an add engine, edit engine, save, clear all, stop edit mode, and delete. And so, those are all pretty self-explanatory, and, some foolproof has been added in here. So it's gonna, whatever tab you're on, you don't have to put in the manufacturer. It's just gonna pick up, oh, you're on the MTU tab. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and put MTU as the manufacturer then. So we got test model, and we'll go ahead and save it. Look good enough to save? Yep, sure does. Alright, there it is at the very bottom. So we were at 61 records, now we're at 62, but I don't want a test record in my database, so we'll just go ahead and delete it, and we're back to 61. And so, as you can see, this little window changed depending on what mode you're in. That was new engine mode, which kind of turned green, edit mode. Oh, and also with new engine mode, you can see all of these controls clear out. And so we'll go into edit mode, and it captures all those text fields there for you, and you can just go ahead and edit them. So some pretty cool stuff. You can clear them all out, but I don't want to do that. And so you have your records, you have some real-time wildcard filtering here. I just have 4 different filter criterias, so we'll just go ahead and do a filter by model. Models that contain 7, we have 8 of them in MTU. If you go over here to GWAS core, no models contain 7. So we'll just clear that out to reset it, and I do know there are 476s in GWAS course, so this is pretty cool, and this has been extremely helpful for me to manage all this data. Down here I have a command line, so we'll say select all from, we've been in the products table, so let's look at everything on the generators table. Hit F5, we'll make this full screen, and so this data grid uh, populates with whatever data set you're looking at right now. So that's pretty cool. This has been a very fun project to work on. This is actually a remake of an old project that has been needing a whole bunch of cleanup, and this is the old project here. And just to show you the huge difference, this is the database editor of the old program. Same data, it just uses Microsoft Access, but it uses that same control class. Instead of calling it SQL control, I've called it access control. So just goes to show how versatile that class is. And so, I've cleaned up a lot of code from about 800 lines to 300 lines just for the database editor. And it's for this main program here for a calculator. And basically it runs real-time queries against your database, and then it runs some special calculations. Actually, it loops through, and it's a lot of lookup, a lot of database lookup, and so it's all through the power of that SQL control class. Now this grid is showing engines, which is from the database. We don't have any gensets yet. Once it shows gensets, this data grid will be showing instances of each class once it's looped through everything here. And so now I'm not looking at database information, I'm looking at calculated class information, which is pretty sweet. And so we'll come over here, I want this guy, we'll hit next, and so here's a data sheet that I've made up, and it gets populated from that data grid. You can go through and navigate through it. Number 3 looks good, and we'll finalize, file, we'll save that, we'll just call this example, and it saves it as a PNG to my desktop. And so eventually that's what this new version of that program, I'm working on an updated version, making it a lot cleaner, a lot slicker, and so basically that is my project. It's called MegPro. I would be more than happy to share information about it if you would like. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed, and please feel free to ask me any questions and subscribe. We'll see you later.